This story is very meaningful. Everyone should hear it. Listen to Brian tell the story. My name is James Carter. I'm 29, a software engineer living in London, and I've always been the kind of guy who knows what he wants, or more importantly, what he doesn't. Kids? Never on the table. Freedom? That's my lifeline. I've built my life around that truth brick by brick, from the late nights coding in my flat to the quiet weekends hiking alone in the countryside. I thought I'd found someone who got that. Sophie Reynolds, my fiancée of 8 years. She was sharp, beautiful, and for the longest time she swore she was on the same page. No kids. Just us. Until the morning she ripped that page out and set it on fire. It was a Thursday, gray and damp like most London days, when Sophie dropped the bomb. I was halfway through my coffee, scrolling through emails, when she walked into the kitchen, her face pale but her eyes gleaming with something I couldn't place. "James," she said, her voice trembling just enough to make me look up. "I'm pregnant." The mug slipped in my hand, hot liquid splashing onto my fingers, but I barely felt it. Pregnant? My brain short-circuited. We'd been careful, doubly so since I'd started using condoms a few months back, ever since she'd begun hinting at kids despite our deal. "How?" I managed to choke out, my throat tightening. She hesitated, then her lips pressed into a thin line. I stopped the pill, and I might have poked holes in the condoms. The room spun. I stared at her, this woman I'd loved for nearly a decade, and felt like I was looking at a stranger. My chest burned, a mix of rage and betrayal boiling up so fast I could barely breathe. "You what?" My voice cracked, louder than I meant it to. She flinched but held her ground, her hazel eyes locking onto mine. "I thought you'd come around, James. I thought if it happened, you'd see it's not so bad." "Not so bad?" I slammed the mug down, coffee sloshing over the counter, and stood up so fast the chair screeched against the tile. "I told you I don't want kids. I told you 1,000 times. And you lied to me? You sabotaged me?" My hands were shaking, my pulse hammering in my ears. She reached for me, but I stepped back, the air between us thick with something broken. "I'm keeping it," she said quietly, almost defiantly. "I'm 8 weeks along. I've already told my friends." 8 weeks. She'd known for 2 months and said nothing. I turned and stormed out, the door slamming behind me like a gunshot. That was 3 weeks ago. Now, I'm sitting in a dimly lit pub with my best mate, Liam Hayes, a lawyer with a knack for turning chaos into strategy. He's leaning back in his chair, nursing a pint, his dark hair messy from running his hands through it. "She's got no case, mate," he says, his tone casual but his eyes sharp. "If she admitted to tampering with the condoms, that's coercion. You've got screenshots?" I nod, pulling out my phone to show him the text she sent after I left, her confession typed out in black and white, followed by a string of apologies I didn't bother reading. "Good," Liam says, smirking. "Keep those, and get that vasectomy done pronto. She can't trap you twice." I'd booked the procedure months ago, back when Sophie's "maybe kids wouldn't be so bad" comments started creeping into our fights. I'd sensed something shifting, but I never imagined this. "I'm done with her, Liam," I mutter, staring into my own pint. "But she's not done with me." He's right about that. Sophie's been relentless. First came the calls, dozens of them, her voice tearful on voicemails I deleted without listening. I'd see her number flash on my screen, and my stomach would clench, a mix of dread and fury washing over me like a cold wave. I'd hit decline every time, but she kept trying, as if she could wear me down with sheer persistence. Then the letters started, delivered to my mum's house since I'd blocked her on every app, every platform, every digital lifeline she might have used to claw her way back into my head. I'd find them waiting for me when I stopped by, white envelopes with her familiar cursive, stacked like little landmines on Mum's kitchen table. The latest one sits crumpled in my pocket now, a grainy ultrasound scan tucked inside with a note in her neat handwriting, "Please, James, do a DNA test. We can still fix this." Fix this? The words make my throat burn with bile. There's no fixing a lie that big, no stitching together the shredded trust she torched with her own hands. I feel sick every time I think about it, the image of that tiny blob on the scan twisting my stomach into knots. It's not mine, not in any way that matters. I didn't choose it, I don't want it, I don't want her. But she's 13 weeks along now, she hid it for months, letting it fester in secret. And she's digging in her heels, refusing an abortion and threatening legal action if I don't step up. Triple the government's child support rate, her lawyers demanding. Triple. I've just lost my job, Cutbacks at the firm hit me like a brick, and my savings are a pathetic puddle, barely enough to cover rent. I'm drowning, and she's throwing me an anchor instead of a rope. I'm pacing my flat, the walls feeling tighter every day, when my phone buzzes. It's not Sophie this time. It's my old colleague, Tom Wilson. He's 35, a wiry guy with a smoker's rasp and a knack for gossip, the kind who always knows more than he should. "James, mate," he says when I pick up, his voice low and urgent. "You need to hear this. I ran into Sophie's mate Claire at the pub last night. She was half pissed, blabbing about how Sophie's been bragging you'll cave soon. Something about he won't walk away once he sees the baby. Sounded planned, man." I freeze, my grip tightening on the phone. "Planned?" I echo, my voice rough. "Yeah," Tom says, exhaling like he's blowing out a drag. "Claire said Sophie's got people watching you, checking where you go, who you're with, creepy shit." My skin prickles, a cold sweat breaking out on my neck. Watching me? I glance out the window, half expecting to see someone lurking in the shadows across the street, but it's just the usual London drizzle smearing the glass. "Thanks, Tom," I mutter, hanging up before he can say more. My mind's spinning. She's not just fighting dirty, she's playing a whole different game. I call Liam straight after, my hands still shaky. He picks up on the second ring, his voice bright despite the late hour. "What's up, mate? She send another sob story?" "Worse," I say, pacing again, the floorboards creaking under my boots. I tell him about Tom's call, the idea of Sophie tracking me like some hunted animal. Liam whistles low. "That's next level unhinged. We need to up our game. You still got that pie on speed dial?" He means Rachel Brooks, the investigator I hired last week. I nod, though he can't see it. "Yeah, she's already sniffing around. Found Sophie meeting some bloke, but no ID yet." Liam's quiet for a second, then says, "Bring her in deeper. If Sophie's got eyes on you, we need ours on her." He's right, as usual. I text Rachel, my fingers fumbling over the keys. "Found something. Can we meet tomorrow?" Her reply is instant. 8 a.m., my office. Bring coffee." The next morning, I'm at Rachel's cluttered office, 2 steaming cups in hand. She takes hers black, no nonsense, just like her. "So," she says, leaning back in her chair, her sharp gray eyes pinning me, "what's the new dirt?" I tell her about Tom's warning, the creeping feeling of being watched. She doesn't blink, just scribbles something on a notepad. "Makes sense," she says finally, tapping her pen. "She's escalating. That guy I saw her with? Got a lead. Name's Mark Turner. Mean anything to you?" The name hits like a punch to the chest. Mark. My old uni mate, the one who swore revenge after I accidentally tanked his career a decade ago. I'd forgotten him, buried him in the past, but now he's clawing his way back. "Yeah," I say, my voice tight. "I know him. What's he doing with Sophie?" Rachel's lips twitch, not quite a smile. "That's what I'm working on. They've been cozy for months, longer than she's been off the pill. I'll dig deeper. But James?" She leans forward, her tone hard. "Watch your back. This isn't just about a baby anymore." I leave her office with my head buzzing, paranoia sinking its teeth in. Mark and Sophie. It's a twisted puzzle, and I'm the prize, or the prey. I head to Mum's place next, needing something solid to hold on to. She's in the garden when I arrive, pruning roses with a frown that deepens when she sees me. "You look like death, James," she says, brushing dirt off her hands. "Sophie again?" I nod, slumping into a patio chair. "She's got people watching me, Mum. And now there's this guy, Mark Turner, old friend turned enemy, might be in on it." Her eyes widen, worry creasing her face. "Watching you? That's not right. You need to go to the police." I shake my head. "No proof yet. Rachel's handling it." Mum sighs, sitting beside me. "I just want you both to sort this out. She came by yesterday, you know, crying her eyes out, saying she's scared you'll leave her for good." My jaw tightens. She should have thought of that before she lied. Mum reaches for my hand, but I pull away, the anger too raw to let her in. That night I can't sleep. Every creak in the flat sounds like footsteps. Every shadow feels like eyes. I'm scrolling through old photos on my laptop, me and Sophie, back when I thought we were unbreakable, when my phone pings. It's a text from an unknown number. "Check your mail." My heart stutters. I stumble to the door, peering through the peephole. Nothing but the empty hallway. There's an envelope on the mat, though, slipped under while I wasn't looking. I tear it open, my hands trembling. Inside, a single photo. Me, walking out of Rachel's office this morning, snapped from across the street. On the back, scrawled in red ink, "We see you." My breath catches, fear and rage colliding in my chest. I call Rachel, my voice shaking. "They're on to us," I say when she picks up. "Someone's tailing me. Just got a photo." She's calm, too calm. "Bring it to me tomorrow." "We're close, James. They're getting sloppy." The next day, I'm back at Rachel's, the photo burning a hole in my pocket. She studies it, her jaw tight, the lines around her mouth deepening as she turns it over in her hands. "Amateur move," she mutters, her voice low and clipped, like she's already 3 steps ahead. I've got Mark's phone records now. He's been texting Sophie daily. Strategy, not love notes. And get this, he's got a history of blackmail. Looks like he's using her to get to you, then cash out. My head spins, a dizzying rush of anger and disbelief crashing over me like a tide I can't fight. "Cash out how?" I ask, my voice hoarse, barely holding steady. Rachel shrugs, her shoulders sharp under her leather jacket. "Child support's a start, but I'd bet he's got bigger plans. Extortion, maybe. You're the mark, pun intended." I laugh, a bitter, hollow sound that echoes in the cramped office, bouncing off the stacks of files and the peeling paint on the walls. "Great. So she's the puppet and he's the puppeteer?" Rachel nods, her gray eyes locking onto mine with a steadiness that's both reassuring and unnerving. "Pretty much. I'm tailing him tonight. Stay low till I've got more." I nod back, but my chest feels tight, like the air's been sucked out of the room. Stay low? How do you hide from someone who's already inside your life, pulling strings you didn't even know existed? I leave Rachel's office and head to the tube, the photo still crumpled in my coat, its red-inked threat, "We see you," searing into my brain. The platform's crowded, commuters shoving past with their blank faces and hurried steps, but I feel exposed, like every glance is a spotlight. I keep my head down, my hood up, the damp London air clinging to me as I replay Rachel's words. Mark Turner. Blackmail. Sophie. It's a sick dance, and I'm the one tripping over the steps. By the time I get back to my flat, the paranoia's settled in deep, a cold weight in my gut. I double-check the locks, peek through the blinds. Nothing but the usual gray street, wet and empty. Still, I can't shake the feeling that someone's out there waiting. Liam calls later, his voice a welcome anchor in the storm. "You all right, mate?" he asks, and I can hear the clink of ice in a glass, probably his 3rd whiskey of the night. Rachel filled me in. "Mark's a proper bastard, isn't he?" I snort, pacing the flat, my boots scuffing the worn rug. "Yeah, and Sophie's his bloody marionette. I just don't get why she'd go this far." Liam's quiet for a beat, then says, "Love's a hell of a drug. Or maybe she's just desperate. Either way, we'll bury them. Got a mate who can help. Danny Price. Ex-cop, runs security now. Owes me a favor." I stop pacing, my brows lifting. "Security?" "Yeah," Liam says, a grin in his voice. "Big guy, knows how to spot a tail. I'll send him your way tomorrow. Keep you safe till Rachel cracks this open." I hesitate, then mutter, "Thanks, Liam. I owe you." He laughs. "Just don't name your firstborn after me, yeah?" The joke lands like a punch, and I hang up with a grimace. Danny Price shows up the next morning, a hulking figure in a black bomber jacket, his shaved head gleaming under the dim hallway light. He's got a boxer's build and a scar cutting through his left eyebrow, but his handshake's firm and his voice is steady. "Liam says you've got stalkers," he says, stepping inside without preamble. "Anyone I need to break in half?" I manage a weak smile, gesturing to the sofa. "Not yet, just keeping an eye out." He nods, scanning the flat like he's already clocking weak points. "I'll stick around, patrol the block. You see anything dodgy, you call me first, then the pie. Got it?" I nod, relieved to have someone solid in my corner, but the weight of it all still presses down. Sophie, Mark, this invisible net tightening around me. That afternoon, I get a text from Tom Wilson again. "Pub tonight? Need to talk." My gut twists. Tom's been a loose cannon since the layoffs, always stirring the pot, but I agree. I meet him at the Red Lion, a grimy spot near his flat, the air thick with smoke and stale beer. He's at the bar, hunched over a pint, his wiry frame jittery as I slide onto the stool beside him. "What's up?" I ask, keeping my voice low. He glances around, then leans in, his breath sour. "Claire again. Sophie's sister. She was mouthing off last night, says Sophie's got a new angle, something about your job. My heart stutters. My job? I'm sacked, Tom. What's she on about? He shrugs, his eyes darting. Dunno, but she sounded smug, like they've got leverage. Thought you should know. I grip my glass, the cold biting into my palm. Leverage? What could she possibly have? I thank Tom and leave, my mind racing. Did I miss something? Emails, files, anything from work she could twist? Rachel's update comes that night, her voice crackling over the phone. Tailed Mark to a dive bar in Hackney. He met some lowlife, shifty guy, tats up his neck. Couldn't get close, but they were swapping cash. Mark's up to his neck in this. I swallow hard, my mouth dry. And Sophie? She's home, Rachel says. But I've got her phone tapped now. Legal gray area, don't ask. She's texting Mark about the next step. Sounds like they're pushing harder. I glance at Danny, who's posted up by the window, his bulk a silent reassurance. Pushing how? I ask. Rachel's quiet, then says, Dunno yet. But that photo? It's Mark's style. Taunting. He wants you scared. Scared? I'm past that. I'm furious. A slow burn igniting in my chest. Keep digging, I tell her. I want everything. The next morning, Sophie's sister Claire escalates things. I'm at Mum's helping her with the washing up when the doorbell rings. Mum answers, and I hear Claire's voice, sharp and demanding. We need to talk to James. I dry my hands, my pulse spiking, and step into the hall. Claire's there, her blonde hair scraped back, her eyes blazing, with Sophie beside her, pale, her coat stretched tight over her belly. What now? I snap, crossing my arms. Claire jabs a finger at me. You think you can just walk away? Sophie's got proof you're not as clean as you pretend. My stomach drops. Proof of what? Sophie steps forward, her voice soft but edged. Your job, James. Those late nights coding. You weren't always working, were you? I've got logs, emails, enough to make people ask questions. I stare at her, my mind scrambling. Logs? I'd moonlighted a bit, freelance stuff, but nothing illegal, just bending company rules. How'd she even get that? You're bluffing, I say, but my voice wavers. Claire smirks. Try us. Pay up, or we'll see what the courts think. Mum gasps, clutching my arm, but I shake her off. Get out, I growl. They leave, Sophie's eyes lingering on me, pleading, but cold. I call Rachel immediately, my hands shaking as I pace Mum's kitchen. She's got something, work stuff, says it's leverage. Rachel's voice hardens. Mark's doing, he's a hacker too, forgot to mention. Old uni trick of his. Probably snooped your laptop way back. I'll check her story. Sit tight. Sit tight? I feel like a caged animal, every nerve on fire. Danny's watching me, his scar twitching as he frowns. They're desperate, he says, his deep voice steady. Means they're slipping. Let me shadow you tomorrow. Rattle 'em. I nod, grateful for his bulk, his calm. But inside, I'm unraveling. Sophie's not just fighting for a baby. She's weaponizing my past and Mark's sharpening the blade. That night, I'm alone in the flat. Danny's on patrol, when a knock jolts me awake. It's late, past midnight, the sound sharp against the silence. I creep to the door, my heart hammering, and peek through the peephole. A figure in a hoodie, face shadowed, drops something and bolts. I wait, listening to their footsteps fade, then open the door. Another envelope, heavier this time. Inside, a USB drive and a note. Watch it, then decide. My hands tremble as I plug it into my laptop. It's a video, grainy, dark, but I recognize the voice. Mark, talking to someone off screen. He'll pay when he sees this. Old project files, enough to tank his career for good. The screen cuts to a folder. My freelance gigs, dates, payments, stuff I'd buried. My breath catches. They've got me. Or they think they do. The laptop screen glows in the dark flat, the video frozen on that damning folder. Dates, payments, scraps of my freelance gigs I'd kept quiet to dodge company policy. It's not illegal. Not really. But it's enough to smear me. Enough to make a judge squint and ask questions. My hands hover over the keyboard, trembling. A cold sweat beating on my forehead. Mark's voice from the video loops in my head. He'll pay when he sees this. And I can almost see his smug grin, the same one he flashed back in uni when he thought he'd outsmarted everyone. Sophie's in on it too, her quiet desperation twisted into his game. I slam the laptop shut, my chest heaving, anger surging so hot it drowns the fear. They want me to fold? I'll break them first. I call Rachel, my voice a jagged whisper in the stillness. They dropped a USB, video, files from my old job. Mark's got dirt. She doesn't miss a beat. Bring it now. I'm at the office. I glance at the clock, 1 a.m., but sleep's a lost cause. I grab the drive, shove it in my pocket, and text Danny. Coming out, cover me. His reply's instant, on it. I step into the hall, the air thick with that late-night chill, and spot Danny's shadow by the stairs, his bulk a silent shield. Trouble? He asks, his deep voice rumbling. Yeah, I mutter, brushing past. They're upping the stakes. He follows me to the car, his eyes scanning the street, empty, but the hairs on my neck stand up anyway. Rachel's waiting when I arrive, her office lit by a single lamp, shadows stretching across the walls. I toss the USB on her desk, my stomach churning. They've got my freelance stuff, enough to screw me if it leaks. She plugs it in, her face unreadable as the video plays. Mark's voice fills the room again, smug and sharp, and I clench my fists, nails digging into my palms. Rachel pauses it, her eyes flicking to me. Sloppy, she says, almost amused. He's banking on you panicking. But this? It's leverage, not proof. We can spin it, say he hacked you, forged it. He's got no chain of custody. My pulse slows, just a fraction. You sure? She nods. I've seen worse bluffs, but we need to hit back, hard. I've got their meat on tape from the cafe. Mark's slipping and Sophie's cracking. Tomorrow we confront them. I barely sleep, my mind a tangle of rage and strategy. Morning comes gray and heavy, the sky pressing down as I meet Liam and Rachel at the cafe. Same one Sophie and Mark used, a poetic twist I can't ignore. Liam's nursing a coffee, his tie loose, his grin sharp. Ready to gut 'em, mate? He asks, clapping my shoulder. I nod, my jaw tight, the USB a cold weight in my pocket. Rachel's across the room, wired up, her cool calm a lifeline. Sophie walks in first, her coat taut over her bump, her face pale but set. Then Mark, taller, harder than I remember, his eyes darting like a predator's. They sit, and Rachel's mic crackles to life. He's got the drive, Sophie says, her voice low, unsteady. He'll cave now, right? Mark leans back, smirking. If he doesn't, those files go public. He's done. My blood boils, but Liam grips my arm. Wait, he whispers, let him dig deeper. They do. Mark brags about hacking my laptop years ago, old uni grudge, easy pickings, and Sophie admits she gave him access, her voice breaking. I just wanted you back, James. I can't take it anymore. I stand, crossing the room, Liam and Rachel flanking me. Sophie's eyes widen, Mark's smirk falters. Nice plan, I say, my voice cold, steady despite the storm inside. I slap the USB on the table. This your ace? Rachel's got you on tape. Hacking, blackmail, the lot. You're finished. Sophie gasps, her hands flying to her mouth, but Mark lunges forward, snarling. You've got nothing, Rachel cuts in, holding up her phone, their voices playing back clear as day. Courts'll love this, she says, her tone icy. Mark freezes, then bolts, shoving past tables. Danny's there in a flash, blocking the door, his fist slamming Mark back into a chair. Stay put, he growls. Sophie's sobbing now, her face crumpling. I didn't mean it. Mark said it'd work. I stare at her, this woman I once loved, and feel nothing but a hollow ache. You chose him over me, I say, turning away. Deal with it. Liam calls the police, Rachel secures the evidence, and I walk out, the air hitting my face like a slap. Mark's arrested, Sophie's a mess, but it's not over. The courts take weeks, her lawyer pushes, but the tapes and texts kill her case. No DNA, no responsibility. I'm free, legally. I get the vasectomy, move to Manchester, start over. Then one night, unpacking, a letter slides under my door. This isn't over. I toss it, my heart steady. Let them try. I'm done running. The dust has settled now, or at least that's what I tell myself as I sit in my new flat in Manchester, the faint hum of the city filtering through the window. The letter's in the bin, its cryptic threat. This isn't over. Just another echo of a fight I've already won. My name's James Carter, and if you've followed me this far, you've seen the mess I crawled out of. Sophie's betrayal, Mark's vendetta, the USB drive that nearly broke me. It's all behind me, but it's left scars deeper than I'd like to admit. I'm 29, a software engineer who thought he had life figured out, only to watch it unravel in a blur of lies and revenge. I don't know if you've ever felt that kind of gut punch, the kind where someone you trusted turns into a stranger right in front of you, but I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Still, here I am, breathing, standing, maybe even a little wiser. Looking back, I see the lessons carved into every twist of this nightmare. Trust isn't a gift you hand out blindly, it's something you build, test, and guard, because when it breaks, it's a weapon in the wrong hands. Sophie taught me that the hard way, her tears and pleas masking a plan I never saw coming. And Mark? He showed me grudges don't die, they fester, waiting for the right moment to strike. I learned to listen to my gut, too. Those nagging doubts I brushed off when Sophie started hinting at kids, they weren't just noise, they were warnings. Most of all, I learned I'm stronger than I thought. When the walls closed in, when the USB hit my doorstep and the courts loomed, I didn't fold. I fought. With Liam's wit, Rachel's grit, Danny's muscle, and even Tom's shaky loyalty, I clawed my way out. It wasn't pretty, but it was mine. So here's my question to you. Yeah, you, the one reading this. What would you have done? If your world flipped upside down, if someone you loved stuck a knife in your back and called it love, how'd you handle it? Would you run, fight, or freeze? I'm not here to judge. God knows I've stumbled enough, but I want to hear it. Drop your thoughts below, tell me your story, or just vent if you need to. Maybe you've dodged a bullet like this, or maybe you're still in the thick of it. Either way, you're not alone. I made it through, and I'm betting you can too. So, what's your take? What's your lesson? Let's talk.